every time we went to one of the places that Ed Gein, was associated with today, Courtney and once me gathered substances, usually dirt or pieces of the building.
What?
So this is some material from Ed Gein's grave.
What?
This is some material from...
This was from the Spirit Land Cemetery where he would grave rob.
What?
You two gathered these.
Yep, that was from the hardware store where he killed his last victim.
What?
And then this is from Ed Gein's house.
What?
That I grabbed from the actual place where the house was built. So not only do we have the earth from those places, but we also have, for the first time ever, Ed Gein's rifle. No one has ever investigated this thing. It's crazy to think that Ed Gein held this at one point in his life.
What?
And Ed Gein's knife that he supposedly used to skin his victims.
What?
Weirdos, boss ghouls, how you all doing? Today, we're going to be looking into the Paranormal Files again. But this video doesn't warrant the purple soothing backlight that we usually use. No. We're going dark. Alright, so the Paranormal Files has recently done a video about Ed Gein's farmhouse, a paranormal investigation at Ed Gein's farmhouse. You know, one of the most notorious true crime hotspots in America. Except, checking my notes, yeah, they're not actually at the farm, they're at the jailhouse. It's kind of like doing an investigation at the Titanic from your own bathtub. But don't you dare let reality get in the way of a good thumbnail. Because when Netflix monster Ed Gein dropped, Colin decided it was time to ride the SEO train to hell. Because nothing says respectful like dropping a ghost emoji over a serial killer's face, calling it an investigation. A little side note, yeah? You want to know how obsessed Colin is with serial killers? He takes out Ed Kemper, investigating with him. I'm getting in trouble for that. Fuck him. All jokes aside, this one is bad. Like exploitive true crime meets ghosts who are bad. And somehow this manages to be both morally disgusting and geographically inaccurate. That's a special kind of talent, Colin. So straight out of the gate, we greet you with a thumbnail and title. We visited Ed Gein's haunted farm to hunt for ghosts. True crime. Which I guess would be fine if they were actually at the farm. And I'm going to insert the clip here that will blow your minds to the levels of depravity Colin will sink to. Which makes me feel good about the Ed Kemper joke.
So this is some material from Ed Gein's grave.
That's right. Colin removed dirt from Ed Gein's grave and took it to the jail. What the fuck, Colin? Now, you may go live, or you may bring out a video or a post crying about how nasty debunkers are. None of us have ever done any shit like that. You see, that Colin can't actually investigate Ed Gein's farm because the place burnt down 70 years ago. Not only did it burn down 70 years ago, but the townsfolk have hidden it. And as far as I can tell, the land that Ed Gein's house was on is now privately owned by the local townspeople. They've changed the area. They don't want ghost hunters turning up there with their spirit boxes like, "Yo Ed, are you still into skin lamps?" So Colin films at the jail, which is now a museum where Ed Gein was initially held after his arrest, where the initial interviews took place. So maybe the video would have been better titled, "We investigated the jail cell where Ed Gein once sweated a little bit." Rolls right off the tongue. And I'm not saying you can't film there. You can. But calling it the Ed Gein farm? That's like making a documentary about Bigfoot in your back garden because once you spotted a hedgehog. And then we get to the main event. Colin and crew pull out a knife, claiming that it is Ed Gein's knife. There's cardboard cutouts of Ed, there's Ed Gein memorabilia. The guy killed people. Why do you want his memorabilia?
And Ed Gein's knife that he supposedly used to skin his victims.
Yep, they used the knife of a man who literally butchered his victims, and they used that as a trigger object to communicate with his ghost. Yeah, because when I think honouring the memory of a horrific tragedy, I think waving the murder weapon around like it's a Spirit of Halloween prop. This isn't a paranormal investigation. This is grave robbing the concept of respect itself. Congratulations, you've unlocked the morally questionable achievement. There are still people alive in this town that remember this case. I have a friend that lives very close by to this town whose family remember this case. There are still people alive that lived through the horror of what Ed Gein did. The victims weren't fictional characters. They were neighbours, they were daughters, they were friends. And now, 70 years later, Colin is waving around Ed Gein's knife for clicks and views. Real spiritual stuff, you know? Nothing gets ghost talking quite like total disregard for human decency. Well done, Colin. Now, I'm not saying that this video was dropped for maximum SEO impact, but the upload date was literally the same week that Netflix Monster series dropped. That and Colin's got long blonde hair, meaning this was filmed quite some time ago and it's been uploaded now. Is this a re-upload? Is this something that he filmed and didn't want to put out because it was distasteful? Because Monster is trending really well? I mean, I did a review where I slated the show and got 46k views on a channel that gets 200. So forget your spirit boxes, forget your coffin music boxes, forget your K2 meters, forget your REM pods, forget the Ovulus, forget the tripwire, forget the ghost apps. Colin's real paranormal investigation device, it's the YouTube dashboard. Give us a sign, spirit. At least 10% CTR. This is the problem when the paranormal meets true crime crossovers happen. It's not about history, it's not about empathy, or even belief. It's about monetizing pain. We have reached a point on YouTube where these horrific scenes of these horrific crimes are nothing but content backdrops. You can't respectfully investigate Ed Gein's ghost the same way that you can't respectfully sell on haunted artifacts after a serial killer has passed away. Now selling on eBay, £999. Jack the Ripper's underpants. Skid marks included. It's ghoulish, it's tone deaf, and it's proof that some YouTubers will literally turn anything into content, like GTI speaking to Fred West through a spirit box. Jokes aside, this stuff genuinely still affects people. Plainfield isn't a horror set. It's a small Wisconsin town that has spent decades trying to move on from these horrific tragedies. Every time somebody turns up making an Ed Gein ghost hunt video, they rip that wound wide open. The town cemetery has been vandalised by fans, and Gein's victims' graves have been disturbed. Colin has gone and grabbed dirt and grass from Ed Gein's grave. I mean, what the fuck? YouTubers keep rolling through these towns like it's Disneyland for serial killers. It's not brave, it's not paranormal, it's exploitation. Okay, so now we've established that this is about as ethical on a Ouija board at a corpse in a morgue. Let's talk about how bad the actual investigation is. I mean, we spend a long time walking around this jail cell with people that I've seen in documentaries about Ed Gein, being quite excited. There's cardboard cutouts of Ed, there's a little locked cabinet of Ed Gein's stuff, you know, his knife and newspaper clippings. Colin is sat there quite proud, waving about one of Ed Gein's guns.
I was about to say, Mary and Jeff.
Yeah.
What kind of bedtime stories are
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
It's intense. It's intense.
Yeah, that's Colin's reaction to holding Ed Gein's knife and his partner holding Ed Gein's gun. And we've got the usual crap in regards to the coffin music box. Spirit boxes or Estes sessions, REM pods, you know, all the usual Fisher-Price starter kit ghost hunting gear. You know your evidence is solid when your main form of communication sounds like Optimus Prime having a wank. And let's talk about the fact that they do the Estes session. It's like some sort of interview with a serial killer. Because yeah, that's what we need, a confession from a killer who died over half a century ago. Colin doing an Estes session. Ed, are you sorry? No. Colin. Wow, incredible evidence. Imagine being one of the victim's relatives and you're scrolling through YouTube and then you see some guy interrogating the ghost of a man who skinned people like it's some sort of shit Friday night challenge. This isn't just tasteless, it's dehumanizing. This is turning real trauma into a carnival attraction. Because that is what Grandma's memory needed. Mid-roll ads. And it's not just Colin, to be fair. There's a whole slew of these idiots, you know. The Cecil Hotel, Dahmer's apartment, fucking Ted Bundy's house. It's like the Venn diagram of true crime fans and people with zero self-awareness finally overlapped and we are now living in the middle. And the worst part of it all, it works. It sells. These videos get millions of views. So naturally, everybody else sees that and thinks, hey, let's go and investigate Peter Sutcliffe up on the moors. That'll boost engagement. Next up on Beardo Gets Scared, we spent 24 hours in Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge. Gone wrong, ghost appeared. And this is what happens when content becomes the only moral compass. History becomes entertainment, and suffering becomes a thumbnail. And look, I'm all for exploring dark history. I love it when people actually do research into these things. I like it when people tell these tales respectfully, where they don't glorify serial killers. But there is a line between documentation and desecration, and the Paranormal Files has pole vaulted straight over that line. He hasn't told a story, he's farmed tragedy for views. They used a murderer's knife as a prop, and they lied about the location in the title and thumbnail. It's not paranormal, it's parasitic. Quite honestly, the only thing haunting that video is the complete lack of self-awareness. So yeah, the Paranormal Files, Ed Gein Investigation, zero ghosts, zero ethics, 100% algorithm worship. Be skeptical, I guess. Do please let me know what your thoughts are in the conversation down below. I know some people may not care, but having a friend that lives very close to the area, whose family were really affected by Ed Gein and the things that he did, just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. And Colin, feel free to cry and bitch and moan about this video like you usually do, because you ain't winning shit. Much love to you all. Beardo out.
He takes some effort investigating with him.
I'm getting in trouble for that. Fuck him.